Tracy. She tries to force her way in and gets it to fall. Three-point shot for Irwin. Perfect. Pierre Gustavo will take the shot from three-point range. Jess Tomaso answers right back with the three. Right on cue, it's Valenzola for three for Burley, and she sinks the basket. Dahlgren, who takes the quick shot. Liskoff lets it go and knocks it down. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Milford High School as Milford TV is once again happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coette on the call as we get set to bring you doubleheader basketball coverage in the Milford gym today. We start off with the Lady Hawks basketball team as they welcome in their Stoughton counterparts. It is a Milford-Stoughton doubleheader on tap here today. So we'll see the girls' teams first and then the boys' teams a little bit later. We'll have you covered for both ends of the doubleheader here on Milford TV. But again, it is the girls that kick things off, and for Milford, they're hoping to kick things back into gear for this second half of their season. It has been the first real rough patch of the year for this Lady Hawks team. They've been in the midst of their toughest portion of their schedule during this regular season, and it has not gone particularly well to this point. Since back on January 24th, Milford has faced a string of the top teams in the Hockomock League. It started with Oliver Ames back on January 24th, which was a 58-42 loss. Then they returned home in our last coverage of the girls. That was Milford taking on Attleboro. That was last Friday, January 27th. A very strong effort in the game for Milford, but unfortunately a loss once again 65-54 to the Attleboro Lady Bombardiers. And then over the weekend, Milford playing at the Dunkin' Donuts Center against the first place team in the Davenport standings, Foxborough. And Milford ended up losing a lopsided contest on Sunday, 66-37, the final in that one, before finally taking on Mansfield on the road this past Wednesday, a game that was postponed today due to snow, and Milford a 10-point defeat in that game, 53-43. So it is a four-game losing streak coming into play here tonight for Milford. They've seen their overall win-loss total on the season start to dwindle just a little bit. A very strong start to the season for Milford, but again, some struggles here against what has really been some of the top teams in the Hockomock League. But Milford enters play here this afternoon, still in third place position in the Davenport standings with an overall record now of 8-6 after those four straight losses. They are now under 500 against Hockomock League competition at 5-6. And they take on a Stoughton team that is just behind them in the standings. Stoughton coming in fourth place position. They are under 500 overall on the season at 5-7. They are 4-6 within league play. But this is a Stoughton team that has been trending upward as Milford has been trending downward on the season. An awful start to the season for Stoughton, a four-game losing streak out of the chute, but they have righted the ship over their last four games, a four-game winning streak for Stoughton. So Milford comes in on a four-game losing streak. Stoughton comes in on that four-game winning streak. A good victory in a tight game against Franklin, their last time out, but overall, again, just a very resilient effort for this Stoughton team over their last four games. So that has pulled them closer in the standings to Milford. So right now these are two teams with very different stages of momentum. Milford hoping to build it back up here tonight. They do have the home court advantage. Milford was able to come away with a victory against Stoughton earlier this season. In what was a doubleheader over at Stoughton High School, the Lady Hawks were able to defeat Stoughton 51-37. So Milford with an opportunity to get the season series sweep against Stoughton tonight. And boy, do they ever need a victory here to, again, continue to make their push towards the end of the season. They stand just 2 wins away from solidifying a spot in the MIAA tournament. But again, trying to break out of that four-game losing streak in which the defense has really struggled for the first time this year for this Lady Hawks team. So again, Milford hoping to put it back together as they host the Stoughton Lady Knights in the first game of a boys and girls doubleheader. And we'll see the tip-off in this girls contest when we come back next here on Milford TV. It is time to get this boys and girls doubleheader started. Again, it is the girls basketball teams who lead us off this evening. Milford taking on Stoughton. Your starting fives for these two teams. We begin with the visiting Lady Knights. It is Cheyenne Trin, number 2, number 5, Lily Najem, number 14, Val Whalen, number 30, Aaliyah Wright, and number 35, Jordan Motley. And for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, It is number 11, Kate Irwin, number 12, the captain, Nicole Dahlgren, number 20, captain Christine Pye, number 24, captain Jill Burley, and number 33, Juliana Tracy. Tim Coet here on the coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Always a good time when we have a chance to see the boys and girls take the floor on the same night. And again, the second time this season these two teams have had doubleheader matchups. Stoughton High School was the location earlier this season where these two teams took on one another, and it ended up being a sweep for the Milford teams on that night. So the Scarlet Hawks program's looking for similar success now here on their home floor as both teams are out there at center court. The ball in the air, and this game one of the doubleheader underway. Stoughton controls the opening tip, and they immediately feed the ball to their talented freshman Cheyenne Trin, who's really opened a lot of eyes this season. Now the passing going around the perimeter into the hands of Val Whalen, another talented star amongst the leaders in scoring this season. Jill Burley getting her hand in the passing lane, but Stoughton able to keep the possession, now down to 7 seconds on the shot clock. They feed it inside. The shot gets deflected, and the ball ends up in the hands of Juliana Tracy. So good defense on that opening possession for Milford. Defense is something this team has to take up a notch after some struggles here over the last 4 games, admittedly against 4 of the top offensive teams in the league. As that ball gets tipped out of play, prior to this 4-game stretch, Milford was allowing less than 40 points per game. They've seen their average points per game allowed average rise by 6 points. As off the inbounds pass, it's Trin who lets it go, but it's off the side of the rim. Milford initially grabs the rebound, and they'll say that ball deflected out of play off of Milford. So Stoughton will have a chance to inbound the basketball underneath their own hoop as we still await our first points of the game, less than 60 seconds into this first quarter. They lob the pass into Val Whalen. She immediately gets swarmed. Good tight defense played by Tracy, who goes down to the knees, and now a whistle stops the clock as Stoughton will turn over the basketball. More excellent defense out of the gate for the Lady Hawks. Now it's Dahlgren and Irwin trying to advance the ball, but it's Stoughton who puts the pressure on in the backcourt. They force the turnover, and now the ball glances out of play off of the fingertips of the Lady Knights. So we're seeing some turnovers exchanged in these early goings as Stoughton is really making life difficult for Milford to advance the ball to the front court. They'll call the foul on Stoughton, much to the chagrin of Charmaine Steele-Jordan, the head coach of Stoughton. Finally allows Milford to get the ball into the front court. Now they send the quick pass into Christine Pye, hard for her to handle, but she's able to recover. Now they kick it back out to Irwin. Irwin, the pass to nowhere, maybe seeing Christine Pye out of the corner of her eye, but the pass offline. And we play on scoreless. About a minute and a half into this one. Inside to Whalen, and another whistle stops the clock, so not getting into much of a rhythm here so far in the first quarter. It is a quiet gym here in Milford, not a lot of fan support here, at least in the early going. The student section all but empty in this first quarter of this girls' contest. The boys basketball teams watching on from across the gym floor as that shot misses for Stoughton, and the rebound pulled down by Christine Pye. Excellent to see Christine back out on the floor. She missed the game against Attleboro a week ago due to an ankle injury, but returned the very next game for Milford, so good toughness. As again, Milford will try to advance the basketball, but this trap in the backcourt has been a problem. Finally, Milford able to advance it. Irwin's shot is blocked. Valenzola into the game, trying to wrestle down the rebound, but it is Val Whalen who comes away with it, and now Stoughton pushes the ball up the floor. As we still do not have a basket in this game, Stoughton thinking about 3. Lily Najem gets the pass back outside to Trin, and now they swing it around to Aaliyah Wright, back into the hands of the freshman Cheyenne Trin. And now that ball sent through traffic. Valenzola wisely lets the ball bounce out of play. So 5 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the first quarter, and we are still in a 0-0 score. Alex Masick perhaps offering some words of wisdom to Kate Irwin before she inbounded that basketball. As Irwin now tries to force her way inside, can't split the double team and gets the ball stolen. Now Val Whalen trying to go coast to coast and called for the offensive foul. Well, Milford putting on a clinic defensively through these early minutes. The offense has been another story, as now they get a clean pass ahead to Dahlgren, now swinging it down to Christine Pye before back outside to Irwin to reset. Trying to penetrate inside as that ball gets swatted out of play by the Lady Knights. A lot of communication from the Stoughton sideline as Milford gets the ball back into play. Out to the top of the key for Irwin. Can't find a lane to the basket. Now a dangerous pass inside to Valenzola gets picked off, and now a mishandled basketball on the Stoughton end, but luckily for them, the ball glancing off the foot of Dahlgren and out of play. Stoughton now will inbound with just under 5 minutes to go in the first. They kick it all the way outside to Whalen. Now the swing down to the near wing, nothing doing there, so back outside to Trin, guarded by Burley. Now the bounce pass, they set it up for three-point range for Aaliyah Wright, no good. Whalen gets the rebound, now Wright from a little closer to the basket, still no good. Jordan Motley hanging on to that ball through traffic, but Stoughton turns it over yet again. Many more turnovers than we've seen points so far, as we have yet to see a single point on the scoreboard. And the boys team now willing on the girls from the sidelines as they try to get that backdoor pass into Burley, but it was sniffed out well by that combination of Motley and Wright. And now it's Trin. She can't find a lane to the basket. She lets it fly, no good. Rebound controlled by Valenzola, and back up the floor we go. The pass into Christine Pye. She fires it back outside to Burley, handcuffed her. Now Burley sees a bit of space to the basket. The shot looked good, but it will not fall. Half of this first quarter gone and no points to speak of as Irwin pesters Cheyenne Trin defensively. That shot blocked by Dahlgren. Dahlgren pushing it up the floor in transition all the way to the basket. She gets the bucket and the foul, and finally the scoring drought is broken. Nicole Dahlgren making the good defensive play, blocking the shot, collecting the turnover, and then taking it all the way for the basket and a chance for a three-point play. So it took 4 minutes and 16 seconds, but we finally see the first points of the evening. And Dahlgren completes the three-point play to give Milford a 3-0 advantage. Jess Tomaso checks into the game for the first time and immediately collects her first foul. Milford pressures in the backcourt, but Najem able to advance the ball. Dribbling with the right hand, gets around Irwin, and now the ball deflects off the feet of Milford right to Lindsay McDonald. A couple of chances for Stoughton, but they can't capitalize. Now here's Irwin using her speed up the floor, and she gets a forearm as she goes up for the shot. So now Kate Irwin to the free throw line. Kate Irwin able to get into double figures in points in Milford's loss to Mansfield on Wednesday. However, back on Sunday morning at the Dunkin' Donuts Center against Foxborough, Kate Irwin held to just a single point for the game. She got into foul trouble early, was very limited had a hard time getting into the flow of the offense with those early fouls, and Foxborough able to do the rest defensively. Milford now with the 5-0 lead as Stoughton looks to get on the score sheet for the first time. They pass up on the look from three-point range as now Najem is in trouble. Finally, she hands it off to Wright. Into the corner for McDonald. Now they pass it inside to Motley, and Motley can't get the short-range shot to land. More bad luck on the offensive side of the floor. Emily Pierre-Gustavo into the game now, sending that ball up the floor. Now Emma Liskoff also into the game for the first time. Trying to get the pass to Dahlgren, moving towards that far corner, but the ball ends up out of play. 2 minutes and 38 seconds remain in what has been a defensive-heavy opening quarter of play. Pierre-Gustavo staying with Trin. Driving inside now Hannah Holden, but she loses a handle on it. And Stoughton now starting to back off on that full court press, allowing Milford a clean trip up the floor. Here's Liskoff now. She gets that one partially stripped, gets it back. Her second chance effort, no good. A third chance for Liskoff, but she still can't get there. Now the ball loose on the floor. They call for the jump ball, but the possession arrow going Stoughton's way. Nicole Dahlgren with a good effort. She saw that ball come loose, and she immediately dove to the floor. Stoughton inbounds it with just 2 seconds gone from the shot clock. 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. As that ball ends up out of play. Good defense put on by Tommaso. And now it's Pierre-Gustavo. Into the corner for Tommaso. Kate Irwin on the bench in these final moments of the first quarter. Christine Pye, the turnaround jumper doesn't fall. And now Trin up ahead quickly in transition, but she couldn't handle the basketball. Tries to save it from going out of bounds, but sends it right to Milford. Now here's Pierre-Gustavo, finds a wide open Tommaso from three-point range, but the shot is not close. Now up the floor is Whalen. She tries to take it all the way to the basket, and they'll call the foul on the floor. And it looks like they call that foul against Emma Liskoff. Stops the clock with 1:26 seconds to go. Kate Irwin, after a quick rest, checks right back into the game. Christine Pye and Nicole Dahlgren go to the bench. So it is Irwin along with Pierre-Gustavo, Liskoff, Tracy, and Tommaso. Cheyenne Trin has not found her outside shot yet. Tommaso takes the long lead pass, as now that ball gets poked away by Cheyenne Trin, who ends up losing her balance, landing on her backside. The Stoughton fans want the foul call. They do not get it. And you can understand the Stoughton fans' frustration by the look of the play, but Trin reaching in to try to poke that ball loose, sent it out of play and then lost her balance. And it looks like now, with an official over at the scorer's table, I believe we're seeing a technical foul called. And the discussion taking place now with Coach Dolliver. Did see the technical sign from the official closest to the scorer's table. And Milford now moving down to their defensive side of the floor, so we do not quite have an explanation for the call, but it looks like we will have technical free throws coming up now. So a chance for Stoughton to get themselves on the scoreboard. Trailing this game 5-0 as Trin, her first shot is short. Trin just a freshman, but again, really proving to be an offensive force for this Stoughton team as she's able to net the second free throw and finally get Stoughton on the board. with just 1:15 left in the first quarter. Stoughton will have a chance to inbound now. Just a total of 6 points scored through the first 6 minutes and 45 seconds of this first quarter. An unusually low-scoring game. Here's Whalen now. They find Najem back outside now. Less than a minute to go as Stoughton loses the dribble, but they'll call a kicked ball against Milford. .6 seconds to go as now more Milford fans start to trickle into the gym. Aaliyah Wright back outside. They'll let Whalen take the three off the backboard. Could not get the bank shot as now this ball deflects all the way back out close to midcourt, but Stoughton continues to control. 8 seconds left on the shot clock, 33 seconds left in the quarter. A quick catch and shoot, but over everything for Lauren Bertoletti. And now 25 seconds to go, an opportunity now for Milford to play for the final shot. They swing it around to Nicole Dahlgren. She takes the quick three and drains it. And a quick turnover off the inbound, so Milford now a chance to finish this quarter with a flourish, as Dahlgren now will inbound with 12.8 seconds all the way out to Pierre Gustavo. They find Irwin again. This time she doesn't take the three. The no-look pass just barely gets to Pierre Gustavo. And they'll call the foul now, stopping the clock with 5.6 seconds left. So Emily Pierre Gustavo now to the free throw line looking for her first points. Nicole Dahlgren scoring 6 of Milford's first 8 points of the game. Pierre Gustavo can't capitalize on the free throws. 3 seconds left. A quick heave up the floor. They get into good position for Gabriela Diaz to get the layup as time expired, but just offline, and that was really the story of the first quarter for Stoughton. Not a lot falling their way on the offensive side of the floor. A lot of tight defense played by these two teams through the early minutes of that quarter, and it all totals up to an 8-1 start to this game tonight. Milford in front. We'll step away briefly and have the start of the second quarter next here on Milford TV. When these two teams played back earlier on in the season in Stoughton, it went as a 51-37 win for Milford. Kate Irwin right off the opening possession of the second quarter, able to grab the three. Her first shot from the floor. And now the turnover. Milford trying to go on a run here right away to start the second quarter. So Milford able to accumulate one of their higher point totals of the season against Stoughton in that early stretch of the season, but a very low-scoring first quarter, an 8-1 lead from Milford, but now 11-1 after that quick three from Irwin. Stoughton has been able to get very little done against this Milford defense, who has had a resurgent effort. Pierre Gustavo just rips that ball away. Another turnover for Milford. A renewed effort on the defensive side, to say the least. Irwin's shot no good as Juliana Tracy gets taken to the floor. She and Aaliyah Wright going up for the rebound, and it will be Stoughton basketball. You have to imagine that defense has been a point of emphasis over this last week of practices for Coach Dolliver. Quick pass ahead to Whalen, but from behind, Liskoff is able to get the steal. The pass ahead to Pierre Gustavo, not clean. And Cheyenne Trin able to intercept now inside. Jordan Motley can't get the shot to go. Stoughton keeps the possession alive, and they will now shoot free throws. It will be Val Whalen. The foul called on Nicole Dahlgren. One more shot to go for Whalen. One of the top scorers in the Hockomock League to this point on the season. Val Whalen right now 7th in the league, averaging 13.6 points per game. She misses both free throws, however, and has been held off the score sheet completely to this point. Kate Irwin pushes the ball up the floor, finds Jill Burley cutting to the basket, and an easy lay-in for Burley. And Milford now opens up a 12-point lead. Right, a little loose with the dribble, almost lost control, but Stoughton keeps it alive. Now they feed it into Whalen. Whalen could not elevate that shot over Valenzola, but Valenzola called for the foul. Whalen another chance from the line where she has now missed 3 straight. And you can see she's frustrated as she takes a little stroll away from the line before attempting the second shot. A lot of frustration coming out of the Stoughton team right now as Whalen has missed all 4 looks from the line in this second quarter. It keeps it at a 13-1 margin in Milford's favor. Milford looks to be settling in on offense while Stoughton is still looking for answers. A quick release from Irwin, not quite, but Valenzola and Jill Burley, good fight underneath the basket. Valenzola reacted as if she got hit on the top of the head from a Stoughton player, but no foul was called. Here's Dahlgren, she gets it in to Valenzola, able to work her way around Motley and then gets the foul call. And free throws coming up for the junior, Jill Valenzola. And you can tell that Coach Jordan on the Stoughton side is not at all happy with the officiating through this first half. A lot of conversations with the official, who is now back at the scorer's table. And right now, Coach Jordan going down the line, talking to each player individually. And now the free throws from Valenzola. Couple of misses now for Valenzola. The last 6 free throw attempts in this game have all been misses. 4 on the Stoughton side and now 2 on the Milford side. Less than 6 minutes to go in the half. Trin into Motley. Motley the shot up and over Jill Burley. And now Milford ahead. Burley trying to answer right back in transition, and she gets fouled as she and Motley go at it on the other side of the floor. Burley gets the first free throw, up to 3 points now in the game. Burley makes it a 12-point Milford lead with 5 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the half. Trin against Irwin. Irwin not giving the freshman any space. Now that ball deflected into the backcourt, and it will go as a violation. Dahlgren will inbound it from in front of the scorer's table. It is Dahlgren, Irwin, Valenzola, Pierre Gustavo, and Burley, the 5 on the floor. Feed into Valenzola, tries to bank at home, but no good. to the corner for Trin. Again, Irwin continuing to stay close. She gets some space away from Irwin this time, but has the shot stripped away. Stoughton tracks it down in the corner, but a bad pass ahead to Aaliyah Wright. Gets swatted out of play. .4:53 to play in the half. It's Pierre Gustavo trying to get it to Christine Pye back into the game, but now it's Trin who's able to get ahead in transition, and the freshman getting just her first shot from the floor in this half. She has 3 points overall. High feed pulled down by Pierre Gustavo. They set it up for Burley for three. No good, but Dahlgren's in there for the rebound. Christine Pye, the second chance points are good. (17-5) now, the Milford lead. Trin now gets away from Irwin. Free throws coming up here. Once again for Val Whalen. This has not been a spot she has been comfortable in so far in the game. You can tell from the look on her face she'd rather perhaps than the foul not be called. And gets that one to rumble through. A little bit of luck on Whalen's side that time. We'll see if that settles her down from the line. Sees the second shot go off the back of the rim. Keeps the lead at 11 for Milford. There's Burley now. Dahlgren to Irwin on the near wing. The second three-pointer knocked down by Irwin in this quarter. She's up to 8 points on the night. Inside feed to Whalen. Good positioning for Christine Pye. And now they call Stoughton for the travel. A lot of physical play underneath the basket in this first half. We've seen players going flying to the floor left and right. Dangerous pass to Dahlgren. Whalen going for the steal, but Dahlgren able to keep it under control. Now here's the feed into Christine Pye, who gets tripped up. You can read the lips of Coach Jordan saying that's a silly foul. She has not been particularly pleased with the effort of her team through this first half. Christine Pye able to collect the first free throw. Milford now over the 20-point threshold. 21-6 with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to play in this second quarter. Pye 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Milford 7 of 9 from the free throw line in this first half, as again Stoughton is called for the traveling violation. It's back-to-back possessions for Stoughton that have ended in a travel call. And Stoughton returns now to their press defense, but Milford able to get the ball up the floor much more easily than what we saw in the first quarter. And right now, Milford content to allow these final minutes of the second quarter to play out from the free throw line. They're continuing to stay aggressive to the basket. And it's resulted in a lot of looks right here from the line. Just the third miss from the free throw line for Milford in this half. Pierre Gustavo able to get the second shot, making it a 23-6 Milford lead. This time the whistle going against Milford, so the pace of this Second quarter starting to slow down once again with a lot of trips to the line. More misses on the Stoughton side. This time it is Elizabeth No. Goes 1 for 2. 3 for 10 from the free throw line in this first half. That is the mark for Stoughton. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play until halftime. Outside for Dahlgren. Now the cross-court pass finds Irwin. She dribbles just inside the arc. The shot doesn't fall. Pye flies in for the rebound. Her shot no good, but Dahlgren cleans it up for 2 more, having a very nice first half. 8 points in the half for Nicole Dahlgren. Dahlgren committing to Merrimack College to play soccer earlier this week, participated in the National Signing Day ceremonies here at Milford High School that were held back on Wednesday. A total of 9 Milford students were recognized. You can check out that ceremony on this week's edition of the Milford Informer. You can check out the Milford Informer, like all of our Milford TV programming, on our YouTube channel, My Milford TV. More free throw shooting woes for Stoughton. Less than 2 minutes to play as that ball gets stolen inside by the Lady Knights. Here's Trin again. Athletic move around a defender to get the shot away, but could not get that roll around the rim. Both of the boys' teams continue to be spectators in this one. Expected to get underway in their game coming up at 6:30 tonight. Valenzola gets swarmed inside, so they feed it back out to Dahlgren. This time the shot will not go. A 25-8 lead as they send this ball up the floor. They set up another clean look for Trin, who's just had an off game to this point. Still just 3 total points for the freshman Cheyenne Trin. Now that pass a little bit too lackadaisical out of Jill Valenzola. It got swatted away, and Coach Dolliver able to get the timeout call in. No, he was not. So instead, Stoughton to inbound. The final 65 seconds about to elapse in this first half. Another good block for Valenzola. They push it ahead to Irwin. She has 2 defenders to beat. Drives right to the basket. Did not get the foul call and did not get the basket. Bounce pass to the corner. Milford trying to hold Stoughton to single digits in the half, but a good feed here. Unable to finish. Now the short jumper in and out, that time for Lindsay McDonald, and just flat out bad luck. A couple of point blank looks for Stoughton that just would not land. Dahlgren stepping in front of Burley to take that pass, and then the ball ends up getting picked off by Stoughton. 15 seconds to go in the half. The pass outside to right. Now they find Trin. She gets a step away from Irwin. Lets it go from 3-point range. No good. Rebound now in the hands of Burley. She'll dribble up the floor, heaves it up, and it ends up off the front of the rim. Stoughton might have gotten just a piece of that shot attempt from Burley, slowing it up a bit. And that will end things here in the first half. The defense really taking center stage for Milford. A terrific effort through the first 2 quarters, holding Stoughton to just 8 total points. And they own a 25-8 lead. Milford does over Stoughton. We will step aside now for halftime, and we will have the third quarter for you when we come back next. Coverage of Milford High School basketball on Milford TV. Welcome back inside the Milford gym as we begin second half coverage of this girls basketball contest between Milford and Stoughton. Milford with a 25-8 lead over the Lady Knights as Milford controls the basketball to open up this second half of play. They feed it to Pierre Gustavo from three-point range, her shot offline, but Milford resets. The ball did not catch any iron, so the shot clock down to 12 seconds. As Dahlgren dribbles around the perimeter, tries to hit Juliana Tracy with a pass inside, but it gets deflected and the ball turned over to Stoughton. Nicole Dahlgren and Kate Irwin tied for the high point total in this game to this point, both players with 8 points apiece. Christine Pye with 4 points, Jill Burley with 4 points, and Emily Pierre Gustavo with 1. And over on the Stoughton side, Cheyenne Trin leads with 4 points, 2 out of Jordan Motley and single points each out of Elizabeth No and Val Whalen in what was a difficult first half offensively for the Lady Knights, hoping to make adjustments as the second half progresses. Still playing well on the defensive side of the floor as they break up that pass inside once again. Whalen takes the ball up the floor, and the foul is called on Emily Pierre Gustavo. And Pierre Gustavo will immediately head to the bench, replaced by Jess Tomaso. Inbounds pass out to Trin, and now the pass from Aaliyah Wright looking for Motley is picked off by Dahlgren. Dahlgren runs the floor, pulls up, and nails the jumper. Dahlgren now up to double figures. And now the release from three-point range just off the front of the rim for Lily Najem. And now Irwin, a nifty move all the way to the basket, counted for 2. Back-to-back buckets for Milford as they push the lead over 20 points. A 21-point margin now quickly for Milford. Whalen now from right around that free throw line. That's been her nemesis so far tonight, but Whalen able to get that shot to fall. It's her first points from the floor tonight. She now has 3 in the game as Tomaso gets taken down hard. Stoughton bench putting up a defense chant. Again, they find Irwin from three-point range. She had some space, but doesn't land it this time. And Irwin nearly getting a hand on that ball on the way in, but instead Stoughton able to get a shot away, but the offensive issues still present here in the second half for the Lady Knights. All alone on the near wing for Irwin. And it's no good. Val Whalen able to run the floor. Irwin gets back there. Maybe those footsteps from behind just enough to throw off the timing for Whalen. And now a tricky feed. They tried to weave it into Juliana Tracy. Now the give and go up the floor. A good job as Najem found Aaliyah Wright. And Wright gets her first points of the contest. And we see a timeout called on the floor. The clock stopped with 5 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the third quarter. It is a 29-12 lead for Milford over Stoughton on this coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout on this Friday night doubleheader night here in the Milford gym. A quick steal by Cheyenne Trin, but she cannot finish. The quick hands giving Stoughton the opportunity. We're seeing a little carelessness with the basketball here over these last few minutes by Milford. Not wanting to grow complacent with the lead. Now Burley leaves it behind for Christine Pye. And Pye able to save it from going out of play, but swats it right into the hands of Aaliyah Wright. And Wright gets it back to Trin. He barks out the adjustments for her team, now sends the pass into the shoe tops of Aaliyah Wright. She's able to recover from the knees, gets it to Trin in the corner. Milford closes in inside. Now here's Wright. She tosses it up. She was expecting the foul perhaps. And now it's Motley who puts up the shot. No good, but she will get to the free throw line. Foul called on Pye. Jordan Motley tallies her third point of the evening. And gets a good bounce around the rim on that second attempt. Not great free throw shooting numbers in the first half for Stoughton, but they nail their first two attempts here in the third quarter as Irwin heaves up an off-balance shot. No good. They then set it up for Christine Pye after the offensive rebound, but Pye unable to finish. Now it's Trin. Milford with their backs to the freshman, and she comes through with her first three. Stoughton now up to 17 points. They've already eclipsed their full point total from the entire first half. A handoff now to Pye, but two defenders close in. She cuts to the basket. And they call the foul on Lily Najem. Some Stoughton fans making the trip up 495 for this game. They've made their voices heard, mostly in frustration. It's been a difficult game for the Lady Knights to this point. Down 29-17. They were down 21 not that long ago. They've been able to cut it down to a 12-point margin. Here's Dahlgren, a full head of steam. She gets the bucket and a chance for the three-point play. This has been one of the best offensive games we've seen out of Nicole Dahlgren all season. 12 points and a chance to make it 13. She does indeed make it 13 points individually and 32 points in all for Milford, opening up a 32-17 lead. Irwin closing in on Trin. And now the feed inside as Megan Iosco gets into the game. A little too amped up on that first shot attempt, sent it up off the supports for the basket. Back to the trap defense for Stoughton. A little bit physical for Aaliyah Wright. Gave a little shove to the back of Nicole Dahlgren after she sent the pass back to Kate Irwin. No call on it. Milford getting the whistle eventually, as now Burley inbounds it to Kate Irwin with 2:47 to go in the third quarter. A lob pass across the way finds Burley. Now Pye will pull up for the jumper off the front of the rim. And Najem emerges with the basketball up the floor. Dahlgren back there defensively and got herself into position to defend that shot well. This really feels all around like one of the finest games we've seen out of Dahlgren. She's made several very nice plays on the defensive side of the floor, as well as right now being the scoring leader for this team. The senior stepping up, the senior captain, wanting to see her team end what has been a difficult four-game losing streak. They've sat just 2 wins away from a playoff spot for the better part of the last 2 weeks. Milford last winning back on January 20th here against Sharon. And here's Dahlgren again from three-point range, a little bit short on the shot that time. 1:54 to play. We had a chance to cover a really fascinating game between these two teams here in the Milford gym last season. Of course, you'll remember last year, Stoughton with one of the top players in the league in senior Alicia Quinones came out of the game due to an injury early in the third quarter. Milford was able to mount a comeback, but Quinones coming back into the game in the fourth quarter and really willing the team almost single-handedly back into the game and ultimately won it for Stoughton. Tough loss in the second half of the season last year for Milford. Quinones now playing basketball at the college level. Milford getting the better of the first matchup between these two teams earlier this season in Stoughton. And now a basket from Emily Pierre Gustavo ups the lead to 34-17. And Coach Dolliver wanting to see a little bit quicker reaction back on the defensive side of the floor out of his team. It is Dahlgren, Irwin, Liskoff, Pierre Gustavo, and Valenzola, the five on the floor. As Pierre Gustavo pulls up and gets the ball back outside to the point guard. With 50 seconds to play, Valenzola doesn't pull the trigger, slings the pass deeper inside to Liskoff, who couldn't get the bucket. And now Stoughton a chance to inbound. It's back up to a 17-point lead for the Lady Hawks. As this time, Trin drives inside, couldn't land the shot, and now heavy contact on the other side of the floor. Irwin goes down. Lindsay McDonald getting physical underneath the basket, called for the foul for Stoughton. Sends Kate Irwin to the free throw line, where she is now 3 for 3 on the night. 8 points in the first half for Irwin. She has just 3 so far here in the third quarter. You can make it 4. The lead now at 19. About roughly 2 seconds difference between shot clock and game clock, and immaterial now as Stoughton turns it over and the shot clock gets turned off. Stoughton will put the pressure on here in the backcourt in these closing seconds. Irwin now takes the pass in the corner for 3, no good, and Liskoff could not quite get the rebound. They push the ball ahead to Cheyenne Trin. She lets the floating shot go. It will not fall. But the second chance bucket good for Lindsay McDonald. And that will be the final points of this third quarter. So Stoughton able to get a final bucket to bring the score to 36-19. But still a wide gap between these two teams as they enter into the final 8 minutes. We will have the fourth quarter coverage for you when we come back next. Again, you are enjoying coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Basketball doubleheader action in the Milford gym tonight. The girls getting it started, and the Lady Hawks have controlled this game since the early going. It took us a little while to get our first points of the night between these two teams. We didn't see our first basket until about close to 4 minutes into the first quarter. Milford outscoring Stoughton 8-1 in the first quarter. They had a 25-8 lead at halftime. It was a push in the third quarter, each team netting 11 points. So Milford with the 36-19 advantage here in the fourth quarter. And Val Whalen back at the free throw line. It has not been Val's night shooting free throws. As you can see there, more misses. And Milford immediately pushes it up the floor. Pierre Gustavo passing up the look from three-point range. Now they'll sling it deep inside to Liskoff and just could not get that roll. It was a good pass. It was handled well. No points that time for Milford. And the points the other way for Stoughton as Aaliyah Wright able to get the inside look. Coach Oliver wanting to see a complete effort from start to finish out of his team. We've seen some issues in the second halves of games at times for Milford. Wanting to finish this game strong. Liskoff again denied inside. Stoughton now to inbound. Emma Liskoff now back to the bench. Milford with Irwin, Pierre Gustavo, Dahlgren, Tracy, and Valenzola, the five on the floor with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the basketball game. And Whalen gets a couple of spins around the rim and it lands. Just 5 points in this game for the #7 scorer in the league, and Valenzola just able to keep that pivot foot down. The Stoughton fans wanted the travel call. Across the way to Pierre Gustavo, she lets it go. And now Valenzola locked up for the jump ball. Whalen goes down hard. Valenzola trying for the good sportsmanship play to help her to her feet. But Whalen refuses the help and storms away. It's been that kind of night for Stoughton. The frustration really showing through. Milford with possession of the basketball. The possession arrow going their way on that jump ball. And now here's Kate Irwin, and she responds with a three. That display from Whalen may have lit a fire under Milford here to close out this game. They started to look a little flat-footed early on in this fourth quarter, but very protective of their own. This is a very close-knit team, as we know. They've played together for a very long time. (39-23) is the pass into Pye, and it finds Tracy, and Tracy gets the points. It's the first basket tonight for Juliana Tracy. And now Pierre Gustavo getting a piece of that pass, deflecting it out of play. Five minutes and 35 seconds remain. The lob all the way outside to the point guard. And now a whistle stopping play with 5:32 to go. A foul being called against Milford. More free throw attempts coming up for Val Whalen. She is 1 for 8 on the night. And you can make it 1 for 9. Dahlgren, hard pass ahead to Pierre Gustavo. Too hot to handle. Milford looking for their 9th win overall on the season, as Milford got a couple hands in the passing lane there to deflect the ball away, but Stoughton able to track it down. Now again, the ball coming free. Trin able to track it down. And now Whalen trying to dribble inside. And Christine Pye couldn't quite get the body position, called for the blocking foul. Clean free throw for Whalen, gets the support from the fans and her teammates. Just her second make. And couldn't get the roll on the second attempt. Two for 11 shooting free throws, so a ton of chances all night long for Val Whalen. He's not been able to capitalize. The inbounds pass for Stoughton here. Another floater let go by Cheyenne Trin. Now from her backside, Jordan Motley able to keep that ball under control long enough to get the timeout call from the bench. That stops the clock with just 4 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in this contest. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks with a 41-24 lead over Stoughton, looking for the season series sweep, looking to pull themselves within one win of a tournament berth. And we will see continuing coverage of this fourth quarter next here on Milford TV. As the two teams continue to talk things over at the end of the timeout, we take a very quick look at the Davenport Division standings, where right now Foxborough leads, taking over first place in the Davenport from North Attleboro with an overall record of 10-2. North Attleboro right behind. Then it is Milford, Stoughton, Canton, and Sharon. Foxborough and North Attleboro have already sealed up tournament berths, as have Mansfield and Attleboro in the Kelly Rex division. And as we mentioned, Milford 2 wins away from joining the Hockomock League teams in the second season. They'll have 5 games left to go on their regular season schedule after finishing up here tonight. And of course, here they are owners of a 41-24 lead on Stoughton with just over 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Dahlgren finds Irwin with the long pass, and Irwin does the rest. That's 4 3-pointers in the game now for Kate Irwin. Up to 18 points now in the outing. As Stoughton misses the shot, we tick down to 4 minutes to play. And Milford an opportunity to start to wind down the clock. Instead, Irwin sees the shot and she takes it. Up over 20 points now in the game for Kate. Came into action this week as the number 2 scorer in the Hockomock League. Irwin averaging 17.8 points per game, just behind Julia Strachan of Attleboro. 3.5 minutes to go. And Irwin feeling supremely confident from behind the line. Could not knock down the shot that time, but now intercepts the pass. Milford now with their largest lead of the night at 23 points. They just continue to feed Kate Irwin now. They sling it back around to Dahlgren. Leaves it behind for Pierre Gustavo. Milford starting to use some clock now, but they leave it for Dahlgren in the corner. That's 3 straight 3-pointers nailed for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, and a timeout called as Milford now up to an even 50 points on the night. So we talked about it in the pregame. Milford really needing to find a stronger effort on both sides of the floor, as again you take a look at some of the recent defeats as part of this 4-game losing streak. Milford allowing 58 points in the loss to Oliver Ames, 65 to Attleboro, 66 to Foxborough, and 53 this past Wednesday to Mansfield. They've allowed just 24 points to Stoughton with just 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go. And on the offensive side of the floor, Milford was held to 43 points or less in 3 of those 4 losses in the losing streak, but up to 50 points on the night tonight, so really riding the ship on both sides of the floor. Coach Oliver, no doubt, very pleased with what he's gotten out of the team tonight. And Kate Irwin really pouring it on here in the fourth quarter with 9 points here in the fourth. .21 points in all for Kate now. And Irwin steals the inbounds pass. Hands it off to Pierre Gustavo, and again, Milford will slow the tempo down. 2.5 minutes to play. The long pass to Irwin. Thinks about it from 3, takes a couple of steps inside, drains the 2. A much larger crowd here in the gym now than when the game began. They want to continue to see Irwin shoot the 3s. They'll see the 3-pointer released by Stoughton. Is off the front of the rim by Hannah Holden. And meanwhile, Dahlgren along with Lexi Baptista go to the floor. The jump ball called. And it will be Stoughton basketball, and we'll see wholesale changes here in the late stages of the game for Coach Dolliver as he pulls 4 of his 5 players off the floor, and it will be the reserves who have a chance to play out the final minutes of this game. Checking in now, Julie Rabinowitz, Brianna Croto, Kate Lobiser, along with Jess Tomaso and Emma Liskov. Lexi Baptista, a chance to make some free throws here late, and really no better success at the free throw line than what we've seen out of Stoughton all night long. Dreadful free throw shooting out of the Lady Knights right from the beginning of this one. As the ball gets poked loose, it goes out of play in front of the Milford bench. Croto will inbound it. Sends the ball into Julie Rabinowitz, who we had a chance to see play some extended minutes in the JV game against Attleboro last week. Very deadly from 3-point range in that contest. As the shot clock winds down, someone needs to put it up for Milford. It is Tomaso, and her shot doesn't fall. Croto trying to track it down in the corner, but it goes out of play. Stoughton ball with 93 seconds to play. Both of these teams now going substitute heavy over these final seconds. The drive inside, and Gabriela Diaz can't get the bank off the glass. Tomaso getting a little tangled up there at the end of the play, keeps a smile on her face. A big game here for Stoughton tonight, as they came in 2 games under 500 overall. Trying to climb back to a playoff position, as there's Rabinowitz releasing the 3. No good that time. And Stoughton able to push the ball ahead quickly, finding Haley Egan. Now the miss for Megan Iosco. 55 seconds to play as Liskov comes away with the basketball and then gets fouled. And the senior captain a chance to shoot some free throws. Liskov has played a good chunk of this game. Had a couple of good looks, just some bad luck earlier on the night. She does not have any points registered so far, but a chance now here from the free throw line. Liskov misses the second. A rare miss for Liskov, who is one of the best percentage free throw shooters on the team, and no doubt one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Stoughton drives it inside with 35 seconds to go. Baptista driving underneath the hoop, could not get the shot. Croto with the rebound, and now Tomaso takes it up the floor. The shot clock turned off, and Milford an opportunity here to just pass the ball around to complete this one. Rabinowitz outside around the perimeter as we tick down the final 10 seconds of the game. A late shot for Lobiser, and she will get on the score sheet here in the final seconds. And with time winding down, the 3-pointer released. No good for Gabriela Diaz, and that is that. 55-24. Milford cruises their way to victory. They sweep the season series against the Stoughton Lady Knights, and more importantly, they bring an end to a 4-game losing streak. Milford needed to respond here tonight, and that is exactly what they did. They controlled this game really from the opening tip. Despite some offensive struggles in the early minutes of the first quarter, Milford getting it together offensively, and really one of their best defensive efforts of the season in a game that they really needed that strong effort. That is exactly what they got here tonight. So Milford again with the 55-24 win. And so they improve overall on the season now to 9-6. They stand just one victory away from guaranteeing themselves a spot in the MIAA tournament. Their next game action will be right here at home coming up on February 6th. A game against the Canton Lady Bulldogs. We will have you covered for that game here on Milford TV, so a chance to see this girls team potentially clinch a playoff spot if they can walk away with a victory against the Bulldogs coming up here next Monday night. We will roll on in our coverage here tonight. We'll say so long for now. We will have coverage of the boys game coming up next, but a break in the action for now. A thank you to our crew on hand for this first game of the doubleheader. Our director, Rob O'Keefe, our camera operators, Malcolm Zale, Robert Arujo, and John Giacomuzzi, and I am Tim Coet. Again, the final score one final time in this girls basketball game, Milford with a 55-24 win over Stoughton. This has been coverage of Milford High School athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.